As most of my work in my personal life has demanded me to be a lot more creative with my time and with my skills itself, I was forced to venture out into the internet and actually search for different ways in which I can improve my creativity. And truth be told, I try to look for a lot of tricks, a lot of hacks to improve creativity, like how the most creative people of our time are going about their daily routine, how they're actually optimizing to maximize their creativity. And the answers that I actually found was not actually the answers I was expecting. So, truth be told, I was expecting a lot of hacks. So, you have to meditate, you have to write, you have to consume a lot of content related to your field of work. All of these were the tasks, or all of these were kind of like the hacks or the tricks that I was expecting that people were going to recommend. As I dug further and further into all these articles, into all these YouTube videos, into all these research papers, one theme constantly stuck up to me, and one theme that I truly, in one way rather, that I truly didn't think I would arrive on is the method, or is the thing I'm going to talk about in this video. And the title of the video, frankly, is, just be bored. Right? When you actually give time, or when you take time out of your day, like 30 minutes or 15 minutes or even an hour, to just sit on your chair, like sit on the chair like the one I'm sitting on right now, or sit on your bed, or just sit wherever you want and just ponder over life and just give yourself the opportunity to be bored. If you just do that, turns out your creativity will start going through the roof. Your creativity will start improving a lot. And that was an eye-opener for me, because over the longest time, people have been talking about creativity. For you to maximize your creativity, you have to consume a lot of content, and you have to understand the styles of different creators in your niche, or understand the style of different people working in your niche, so that you can blend all of those styles together and create a style for your own. Well, what if you become so bored to the point where you start researching the fundamentals of your niche itself, to the point where you start inventing things out of the blue, like you start pulling things out of your ass when it comes to your creative field itself. Like, for example, one of the creative fields which demands a lot of creativity from me at this point in time is writing. So I am currently in the process of writing scripts, blogs, content for website, you name it. So I'm currently in the process of writing a lot. I'm currently involved in a lot of creative work, to say the least. So truth be told, the inspiration frankly that I go to in order to get started on these creative projects, I do not go to the internet. I do not really surf through books. I do not really follow traditional methods that most people who claim to be very creative follow. Rather, the method that I follow is really just to be bored. And this is not to obviously say that reading books or consuming content related to your niche is bad. By no means am I stating that. But I think we as a society, we are heading towards the digital media, and the result of us heading towards the digital media has truly reinforced, or truly enforced rather, the mindset that you always have to be online, like eternally online, to not fall behind the pack, or so to say. And I frankly, for the longest time, or for the last few days, I fell into this trap where I tried to save a lot of podcasts in my watch later playlist, and then I tried to watch all of those podcasts, and at one point I stopped even listening to them properly, and I started viewing the entire process of viewing podcasts as a whole like a chore. And that is not something that you should arrive on. And one video that I watched which clicked me out of this mindset was a video from a creator called Elijah Long, is what his name was. I'm not sure if I'm getting his name right, but that video essentially talked about how podcasts are indoctrinating you in all the wrong ways. Now, there was a funny thought experiment for me, because for the longest time I thought podcasts were a really good thing. Well, turns out it is a really good thing if consumed in moderation. We all Well, we all engage in mental masturbations of different types. We all are addicted to mental masturbations of different types. The mental masturbation that I was addicted to over the last month, very recently over the last month, was podcasts. I was skimming through I was literally watching long form content of Vivek Ramaswamy, of Patrick Bet-David, of Jordan Peterson, of Naval Ravikant, to be very precise, of Joe Rogan, you name it, of Chris Williamson. So I like at one point I just started listening to these podcasts as a chore. Point I'm making is, you do not have to consume so much content in order to be creative. The ability to be creative is already inside of you. All you need to do is just let your mind have its time, just be free, in order to truly let your mind start letting the creative juices flow. One more hack, or one more thing, or one more aspect in which being completely bored helps you is, the aspect of dealing with trauma or just everyday life. So when you're bored, believe it or not, your brain actually starts processing every single thing that has happened to you in your life, and it starts planning ahead for the kind of things that's going to happen. You do not really have to actively try to articulate or actively try to think of all these things which are going to happen in your day, or which are going to happen in your life. You do not have to actively try to process the trauma that you got dealt with. Rather, if you just plainly be bored, don't do anything, just sit in your chair like this, just close your eyes and just think, just completely think, let your mind run wild, your brain will automatically start processing all those things that happened to you. And over the last few months, some of the things that happened to me, which was, I thought, last year Madhesh would have found it very, very hard to deal with these things. But the way I dealt with all these things that, over the last few months that got dealt to me was completely just plainly being bored. And when you are bored, you are kind of forced to directly focus on the, problem at hand. So once you face the dragon directly, the dragon kind of shrinks. I think Jordan Peterson talks about this in a story that he describes, where he talks about a cartoon tale, where a person, or this is like a cartoonish tale, where a boy spots a dragon. A boy spots a dragon somewhere in the carpet of his own house. I'm gonna butcher the story, but I guess I can convey the message of the story itself. A boy spots a dragon in the carpet, and then he stops noticing it. So he tells his mother, and then the mother is like, "Oh, you're probably imagining it." So over time, the boy really stops noticing the dragon, so much to the point they are like visually, they are like willfully blind. They are like willfully blind to the dragon, which is so there. So much to the point where, they have ignored the dragon, so much to the point where the dragon grows so big that it starts flying away with the house. And when it starts flying away with the house, you have no other choice than to, look at the dragon. And when the boy and the mother, when they process the dragon, the existence of the dragon shrinks in size. And the dragon becomes as tiny as it was when the boy initially found the dragon in the first place. The point of that entire story is that, all the problems of our life, all the problems will really, really shrink in size if we only managed, or if we only found the courage to look them dead in the eye and see them for what they truly are. Regardless of the extremity of the problem itself, if we make a conscious decision to confront these problems at face value, instead of running away from them, you can breeze past most of these problems. I'm telling you, obviously I'm 19, I'm gonna be 20 in 4 months. I haven't seen life that much, but I can tell you that I have had my fair share of problems over the past few months, and those problems have been very easily dealt with. Okay, very easily dealt with is probably an overstatement. The way to deal with these problems became way more apparent. I guess that would be a better way of putting it. Over the last few months, the problems, the only way, the hack rather that I dealt with, the hack that I used to deal with it is just plainly being bored. So if there are two things that you can take away from this video, is that, one, if you are looking to be creative and if you want to improve the creativity aspect of your life, be bored. right? Be bored and completely rely on the knowledge that is already there inside your brain, instead of trying so hard to seek external knowledge. I mean, see, don't get me wrong, seeking external knowledge in books, in podcasts, or in educational videos, it's very important. I'm not telling you to like completely stop consuming content altogether. Consuming content is a really good thing. It's a really good thing, but do it with moderation. Give yourself time to be bored, and give yourself time to mainly process the kind of things that happen in your day, and more importantly, process the kind of things that you've already consumed. And yeah, that's the first takeaway. And probably the second takeaway will be, well, if you are dealing with any trauma in your life, and if you, well, obviously seek mental help or like professional help if you need it. But I think if you're watching this video, one hack that I can give you is, if you're dealing with something hard right now, give yourself 30 minutes to 1 hour every single day where you just, sit with your problems. Sit with your problems, confront those problems at face value, and see how it helps you. And I'm going to tell you, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. It's not going to be a very easy task. I mean, regardless, that's ironic, because I said, I dealt with these problems very easily, but then I also said that, easily is an overstatement. In order to like truly process these things, just sit with these problems. It's not going to be easy, but it will eventually start becoming more and more easier as time goes on, right? So yeah, there's two takeaways. One is, to be creative, be bored, and two, to process your trauma and to process things going around you better, and to be present in the moment truly. Be bored, right? That's about it. I just had by the way, I do not have any script in front of me. It's completely raw again. One of the most raw videos of my entire YouTube career. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope this video has helped you in some way, shape, or form. See ya.